Hello, Shalom Aleichem, welcome to another installment in this series, One Verse a Week. This week's Parsha is Parshat Mattot, that can be found in your Bibles from Numbers 30, verse 2, through 32, verse 42. Again, this video series is being produced for the Jewish year 5779. If you enjoy this video, if you enjoy this series, and you have not already subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do so. So that you can get updates. Click the bell icon. If you feel that this project or any of my other projects are worthy of your support, I wish you would consider becoming a patron over on Patreon, or potentially making a small donation via PayPal. You can find that information in the details below. Okay, let's get going. Parshat Mattot. Okay, so in the past several weeks we've had some very dramatic events. We've had Korach and Pinchas and the Meraglim, the spies. Had a whole, the Benot Slavchad, the whole issue of Bilam and Balak, and all. It was very, very packed, action-packed several weeks. Okay, fine. So, the verse I picked here is Numbers 32:5. 32:5. So, if you'll read in the verse over there, there were certain tribes who did not want to cross over to the Promised Land. They found that the land that they had conquered on the other side of the Jordan was suitable for their purposes as herdsmen, as keepers of flock. So, as such, they wanted to remain there, and this is when they approach Moshe. This is their approach. Okay, the verse starts: V'yomru im matzanu chen be'enecha Yutan et ha'oretz hazot la'avadecha la'achuza al ta'avirenu et ha'yarden. One more time. V'yomru im matzanu chen be'enecha Yutan et ha'oretz hazot la'avadecha la'achuza Al tavirenu et hayarden. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the verbs here. This is a verb you know very well. Amar. Amar means to say. Aleph mem resh. Okay, so we have it here in the they. This is the plural masculine third person imperfect form. Yud vav ending. They will say. The vav hepik flips it to past tense. So it goes from being future tense to past tense. V'yomru. And they said. Okay. The next verb here. Matzanu. Mem tzadi aleph. Find. So matzanu. This is nu, anachnu. This is the first person plural perfect. So matzanu. We found, or we have found. So im here means if. So v'yomru, they said im matzanu, if we have found. If we have found. Okay, fine. Yutan. I'm not gonna go too deeply into the verb here. It's a little bit beyond most of my students at the moment. Anyway, the shorish is a shorish you certainly know. It is nun, tav, nun, natan, give. Okay, et haaretz hazot, fine. And here's the next word, ta'avirenu. Okay, al ein vet resh, to cross over, avar. Okay, let's look at the non-verbs here. Im, I've already said. Im means if. Chen, we've had this word before, it means grace or favor. Be'enecha in Enaim, Enaim, eyes, takes a plural ending and then drops out, Cha, your, Be'enecha, in your eyes. So v'yomru, and they said, Im matzanu chen be'enecha, if we have found favor in your eyes. Okay. The next word here, avadecha, comes from eved, le, for or to, avadecha, avadim, servants. They're being polite here, and the chuf here, your servants. Le achuza. Achuza means a possession, an inheritance. Okay, let's go ahead and read it here. V'yamru, and they said, Im matzanu chen be'enecha, if we found favor in your eyes, yutan et ha'aretz hazot la'avadecha le'achuza. Give this land, give this land to your servants as an achuza, as a possession. Al ta'virenu et hayarden. Don't cause us to cross over this Jordan River. River superfluous, then it's not there. Yarden, we know that's a river. Okay, incidentally, the word for river is Nahar. So Nahar Yarden is the Jordan River. Okay, fine. Let's look at my translation. And they said, if we have found favor in your eyes, let this land be given as a possession. Don't move us across the Jordan. Okay, and of course, Moshe, upon hearing this, is very concerned. So he goes and seeks counsel from God as to what should be done. This sounds an awful lot like the sin of Korach, or the sin of the spies, or even potentially the sin of the people sinning with the Moabites and the Midianites. Sounds willful, like we don't care what God says. We don't care if God says the cross is over. We want to stay here. So it's on first blush, it seems like trouble. So Moshe goes and asks what is to be done, and a compromise is arrived at. Okay, let's look at the various translations. KJV, wherefore said they, if we have found grace in thy sight, let this land be given unto thy servants for a possession, and bring us not over Jordan. Okay, it's archaic, obviously, but it's pretty good. Okay, NIV, if we have found favor in your eyes, they said, let this land be given to your servants as our possession. Do not make us cross the Jordan. Now, there's a lot wrong here. First of all, they flipped the sentence. It says Vayomer, and they said. So they said, have they said in the middle of the clause here? So if we have found favor in your eyes, they said. So the verse is V'yomer imatzanachem be'enecha yutan et ha'aretz hazot. So they've basically decided to be stylish here and put the they said in the middle of the quote, whereas in the Hebrew it occurs at the beginning of the quote. Okay, if we have found favor in your eyes, they said, let this land be given to your servants as our possession. Okay, as our possession, it's not, doesn't say that, as a possession, not our possession, not achuza shalanu or something like that. Okay, do not make us cross the Jordan. That's reasonably okay. Okay, so a lot of issues there. In RSV, they continued. Okay, so again, this is interpretive. V'yomru, and they said, it doesn't say continued. There's no ode or anything like there to say still or further or anything like that to interpret that to being continued. If we have found favor in your sight, okay, that's good. Let this land be given to your servants as for a possession. Okay, good. Do not make us cross the Jordan. Okay, reasonably good, other than the continued, which again, that's just interpretive. Not awful. They're just trying not to be repetitious to say, and they said, and they said, and they said. However, that is the style of the Hebrew text. So they're in their effort to create something that doesn't sound stale in English, they've run afoul of the Hebrew. They've added to the Hebrew. JPS. I frequently refer to the JPS as the Jewish NIV. Frequently, when the NIV makes a mistake, the JPS makes a very similar mistake. It would be a favor to us, they continued, if this land were given to your servants as a holding. Do not move us across the Jordan. Okay, so they put the they continued in the middle. So they've basically taken the NRSV and the NIV. So the NIV takes the they said and moves it from the beginning of the verse to the middle of the statement for stylistic reasons. And here, so fine, and it also takes the NRSV, somehow views V'yomru as they continued, which is not what the text says. Literally, it says they said. Okay, it would be a favor to us. That's not what it says in the original. It says it would be, it says if you found favor in your eyes. Yeah, if we found favor in your eyes. Im matzanu chen b'einecha, if we found favor in your eyes, not favor to us. There's no in your eyes here. So this is chen, yeah, this is pretty rotten translation, frankly. If this land were given to your servants, okay, as a holding, do not move us across the Jordan. The rest of it's okay, but I don't like they've jacked the sentence around on this. I find this to be beyond the pale. This is fairly rotten translating. Humbly submitted. I'm sure people who get paid more, namely the JPS translators, would probably disagree, but I don't like it. Okay, so let's look at the stone. They said, if we have found favor in your eyes, let this land be given to your servants as a heritage. Okay, echuzah can also mean a heritage. The term echuzah doesn't mean just a possession, but it means that the kind of possession that would come back to you after the Jubilee year. So that's a legal technical term. Do not bring us across the Jordan. Okay, so that is pretty standard, pretty straightforward rendering of the Hebrew. So this time around, the stone and the KJV are both pretty accurate. The NRSV is a third runner-up, save for this changing V'yomru to continued. And the JPS and the NIV, I don't know how to justify that, frankly. At a certain point, you've stylized yourself to the point that it doesn't even resemble the Hebrew anymore. Certainly, the JPS, I think, is guilty of that here. Okay, fine. Let's do the Hebrew one last time. So just leave it with the original. V'yomru, and they said, Im matzanu chen b'einecha, if we have found favor in your eyes. Yutan et haaretz hazot, cause this land to be given, lavadecha, to your servants, the echuzah, as a possession, but a possession that would come back to us, meaning there's a particular plot of land in the scheme of the tribes. This land would come back during the Jubilee. Al tavirenu et Yarden. Don't cause us to come over the Jordan. Okay, fine. That is that for this week. Note that this week, this parsha is frequently paired with the next parsha, Masai, because of how the Jewish calendar falls out. And that is, in fact, how it falls out this year. So I will be producing another video for Masai to drop later this week. Okay, thank you very much. Kol Tuv, Keep learning.